Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Granfia deck profile for post Dragonsoul Resonance. We got a new grade 3 form of Granfia in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set, introducing not only a new grade 3 but a new Noblesse Rose token to be able to have on our rearguard circle, adding more consistency and power to the deck. I would say the grade 3 is one of the only main things that changed about the deck, but still always like to update the deck with some of the other cards, including some of the other promos we've gotten throughout the booster sets to add to the deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. We have the energy generator with our starter being Kind Lordling Granfia. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Future Suzerain Granfia. When wrote upon by Genius Wise Wolf Granfia, you may call a plant token to rearguard, just setting up the plant tokens, which we'll later need for the Noblesse Rose token. Our grade 2 is Genius Wise Wolf Granfia. If your rearguard has a plant token and your soul has a Future Suzerain Granfia, when you would ride a grade 3 with Granfia's card name, you can ride without discarding a card, which then goes into our main grade 3 Lavian Lord Granfia, which is the only copy we're actually running in the deck since we have the new Radiant Lord Granfia Joulemont in the main deck. So with this card's ability on Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1, all plant tokens on your rearguard become plant gauges. You call a Noblesse Rose token to your back row center rearguard and put all your plant gauges on that unit. And on the Vanguard, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, put one or more, up to a total of 5 Noblesse Rose or plant gauges into the drop. Choose one of your rearguards, and it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. For each card put in the drop for this cost, if you put 3 or more cards, you stand that unit. So the added restand power, the more different tokens you have on your Noblesse Rose token, which we'll go over now as well. It cannot be moved to other circles. If you have a Vanguard with Granfia and its card name, all the following are active. When you would place a plant token on rearguard, you put it as the plant gauge instead. And when this unit gets plus 5 for each of its gauge, and when you would retire rearguards as cost, it can be paid by retiring plant token rearguards. It can also be paid by discarding the plant gauges, which are the different plant tokens that we can run. And every time we were to call a plant token, it'll go underneath our Noblesse Rose token behind our Vanguard. The gauges act as cards underneath it, so that is the setup we use with that grade 3. The new grade 3, which we are running 4 of, is Radiant Lord Granfia Joulemont. When this unit is placed by riding from Lavian Lord Granfia, activate Persona Ride. Until the end of the turn, this unit gets all the original abilities of that unit. All plant and Noblesse Rose tokens on your rearguard become plant gauges, and you call a Noblesse Rose Rosa token to the back row center rearguard and put all the plant gauges on that unit face up. So then the new one is the Noblesse Rose Rosa, which we'll go over in just a second again. At the end of your turn, choose a Lavian Lord Granfia from your soul, ride it as rest, and if you rode, choose one of your Noblesse Rose tokens and put this card face up as that unit's plant gauge. So be having this card count more as the plant gauge cost for that token, and then also being able to just reset up your original Granfia to then be able to rewrite into again. Having all the abilities of this one on top of this card give you the Persona Ride power, but also the use of the Noblesse Rosa token. This card cannot be moved to other circles. If you have a Vanguard Granfia's card name, all the following effects are active. When you would place a plant token on rearguard, put it as this unit's plant gauge. It gets plus 5 for each of this unit's gauge. And when you would retire rearguards as cost, it could be paid by retiring plant token rearguards. It could also be paid by discarding plant gauges. And on rearguard once per turn, when your Vanguard is attacked, you can discard any number of plant gauges from this unit. For each one discarded, your Vanguard gets plus 5 till the end of the battle. So the more plant gauges you have, the better defense you can use for your Vanguard. Having more of the shield power to use is a once per turn thing, but it can act as a true defense against your opponent, with this card acting as this card and the added protection for your Vanguard. Additional grade 2s include 4 copies of Friendly Broccoli. When this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, if you have a token unit on your rearguard, counter plus 1, draw a card. So it's just draw power. And on rearguard or guard circle, if you have a token unit, this unit gets plus 5 power and shield plus 5,000 as well. So the added 15k power, 10k guard, making it draw power for just having what we're normally going to have guaranteed in this deck on the rearguard, and that is a token unit. The additional copies for the grade 2s include 4 copies of Ron Orangerine. When it's placed on rearguard, you may call a plant token to rearguard, which if we have the Noblesse Rose token, it'll just act as the plant gauge to add onto it. And at the beginning of your battle phase, if you have a Vanguard with Granfia, you may call a plant token to rearguard, giving you the added plant gauge on this card for basically no cost at all. So Ron Ordering is just a better rearguard to set up more and more plant gauges to use against our opponent. The 3 copies of Fairy of Prospecting, Rohulua, which is one of the newer cards to be released for the deck, but still, on rearguard, when this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Granfia, its card name, retire a plant token, and this unit gets plus 10,000 to the end of that battle. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1, and it also gets critical plus 1. So just when it attacks, having the added pressure of Rohulua to be able to also restand against our opponent and get that critical again, which we don't have to save any of the counterblasts for things like our Julemont. They can be saved for these rearguards with the added pressure power against our opponent. For the grade 1s, 4 copies of Shawa Shawa Kabor. From the rearguard or the drop, if you have a Noblesse Rose token on your rearguard, so blast 1, choose one of your Noblesse Rose tokens, perform one of the following. Put this card face up as its plant gauge. If your card with the same card name as this card was not put by on the bottom of the deck this turn, put the top 3 cards of your deck face up as this unit's plant gauge in this unit, and put this unit on the bottom of the deck. This acts for the added card not being put for the setup. And from the gauge zone, a Noblesse Rose token with this card as a plant gauge cannot be affected by your opponent's cards. Protecting our Noblesse Rose token is a big part of why we run for this card. Your opponent will aim for that card to retire, so then you have to go for the full work of being able to reset it up again with your Granfia Vanguard. And when this card is discarded as a plant gauge, bind this card. So it takes away from being able to use it again, but we have plenty of setup that we can use with Shawa Shawa, and then the added protection definitely makes it a 4 of in the deck. And then also the 4 copies of Burrow Mushrooms. You can, on rearguard, put this unit in the soul, call up to 2 plant tokens to rear. If you have a grade 3 or Vanguard with Granfia, choose one of your rearguards and gets plus 5, being able to repower up a rearguard that would potentially be restanding, as well as just setting up 2 more gauges on our Noblesse Rose token as well. And then also 4 copies of Rosarium Fairy. When it's placed on rearguard, retire another rearguard and call up to 2 plant tokens. So you'll get rid of 1 plant gauge to then basically place 2 more on your Noblesse Rose token. And on rearguard, when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Granfia or Leonord, in your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, choose one of your other back row rearguards and increase this unit's power by that unit's power. So then this card can copy the power of the Noblesse Rose token, hitting for some pretty big power on its own, making it another definite 4 of in the deck to use. And 3 copies of Fairy of Condor Darien. On back row rearguard, beginning of your battle phase, if you have a Vanguard with Granfia, call up to 1 plant token, and if you have a Noblesse Rose token, counterblast 1 and draw a card. So with Broccoli and this card, they take care of the draw consistency in the deck, so you always have cards in your hand to make use of. Just the 3 of those, since it just has to be set up on your back row rearguard. It doesn't have to be placed or anything like that. With the rest of the grade 1s just being our Sentinel lineup. If you want to run Elementary Sanctitude, you can always just swap one of these cards for that card in the deck. With our trigger lineup being the 7 critical, so 4 Elena and 3 Abyss Temptation, with our next trigger being the draw trigger. Just for more consistency, hand is a big weakness of this deck, so you need the draw wherever you can get it, and the draw trigger comes in handy for that also. The 4 copies of Rhythmica Kiwi for the generic heal, and then our over trigger just being Valnute for the added restand power to give to our stood unit, and then being able to have it restand again after the first attack, which will work when Granfia has its restood target again on the rearguard circle. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, a fun little update to the Granfia Stoicheia deck with the new addition to the Noblesse Rose Rosa Rosa token to use on top of our original Noblesse Rose token, and all the many different plant gauges for the deck also. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.